Hello there, my name is Cristian. I'm one of the specialist celiac dietitians at Bradford Teaching Hospitals in the UK, and today I'd like to answer a question that a lot of patients have, and I think it's important to actually identify. And the question is, crisps, which ones can I have? Which ones are suitable for the gluten-free diet if I have celiac disease? So the reason I want to answer this question is, one, as I said, because a lot of patients have it, and also because the way we'll do it today will hopefully help you identify gluten with many other labels. So there's not a blanket approach. It's not like I can say, oh, you can have these crisps, you can't have those. It's all about reading the ingredients and identifying gluten. So if you know how to read a food label, you'll be able to apply this to many different areas when you come across these foods in the supermarket, not just crisps. But I think crisps are a good example because when patients come to clinic and talk about crisps, a lot are over restricting their diet because they're just eating 1 or 2 packets of crisps when they can have more. And on the flip side of that, there's a lot of patients who will just be, they'll be eating maybe 2, 3 or other ones or another amount of crisp, and some of them might actually be contaminated with gluten without them knowing it. So today we'll actually use some common food packets of crisps that you'll find in supermarkets in the UK to help you identify gluten and identify which ones are suitable. Okay, so to start off with, we've got some Walker's crisps, which are quite common, and you'll probably find them in most supermarkets in the UK. And as you can see, the first thing we would look for there is to see if it says gluten-free anywhere, and it doesn't. So our next check would be at the back. And as you can see, if you read the ingredients there, you will see that there's nothing in bold there, so there's no gluten. And if there were something in bold, we'd just be looking for barley, rye, oats or wheat, so no sign of that. So that's fine from an ingredients point of view, but if you actually look below, it's cross-contaminated. It's made in a factory that handles gluten. So that would mean that Walkers are not suitable for the gluten-free diet because the ingredients are okay, but below in the allergy advice section, it says they're made in a factory that handles with gluten. Okay, so they're not suitable. So the next packet of crisps we have, which a lot of you will probably be aware of, is keto crisps. Okay, so once again, we have a look and you can see it doesn't say gluten-free anywhere there, but if you look at the back, just small there, it just says gluten-free. Okay, so as soon as we see gluten-free anywhere, then we don't even need to read the ingredients. We know that this is suitable for the gluten-free diet. Okay, so let's get the next packet of crisps. So this you might find somewhere like Aldi, and these are some pea snacks. Okay, so quite straightforward. In the middle it says gluten-free, so again you don't even need to look at the back for that. That's nice and straightforward. Okay, however, for a lot of foods that you'll see that say gluten-free, sometimes what can happen is that they are actually more expensive. Okay, so one of the ways to make sure you're not spending more money than you need to is, again, by reading those ingredients, because what can happen is that the ingredients are gluten-free, it might not be cross-contaminated, and it might not say gluten-free. So not all foods that are gluten-free will have a gluten-free sticker or label. Okay, and this is the case with a lot of supermarket-owned brands, not only for crisps, for a few other foods, which is why it's always worth checking. So if you have a look here, we've got some Asda crisps. Okay, so at the front it doesn't say they're gluten-free anywhere, but if we have a look at the back, you can look at the ingredients. So our next check would be to look at the things in bold, and in bold you can see some milk, you can see some buttermilk, but there's no evidence of any gluten there, no barley, rye, oats or wheat, and it doesn't say anywhere allergy advice or that it's made in a factory with gluten. So these crisps do not say gluten-free anywhere. They're not cross-contaminated either, so they are gluten-free. It doesn't say they have gluten anywhere, right? It's very, very nice and clear. And they're usually going to be cheaper. Okay, so by the same token, we've got some sour cream lentil curls there. Okay, so you've got them from Morrison's, and that's from a multi-pack, and it doesn't say gluten-free at the front. But if we look at the back, again, very similar. There's some allergens there, but it's just butter and buttermilk. And it doesn't say anywhere that it's been made in a factory that handles gluten, wheat, barley, rye or oats. So actually, these don't have a gluten-free sticker either, but they are suitable for the gluten-free diet. Okay. And then the last one we have are some Morrison's own brand tortilla chips, okay? So a lot of people might eat Doritos, okay? And Doritos are contaminated actually. When you look at the statement, the allergy statement, it says they're made in a factory that handles gluten, wheat, rye or barley, okay? So what you can do is you can get Morrison's or many other supermarket owned brand tortilla chips, and when you have a look at the ingredients, what you will see is that it says milk, again buttermilk, but none of those allergens have gluten in them, and it's not made in a factory that handles gluten either. So again, completely suitable for the gluten-free diet, right? And that's the case, as I said, with a lot of supermarket brand crisps. And the reason we have to read that statement that might say allergy advice or made in a factory with gluten or may contain gluten in processed or cooked foods is because if it says that food's not suitable for the gluten-free diet, it has too much gluten for your gut to tolerate if you have celiac disease, okay? So just a quick recap with what we've discussed today. So for reading any label, the first thing you'll have to do is check to see if it says gluten-free. If it doesn't, your next check will be to look at the ingredients. Look for the allergens, the things in bold, highlighted or in italics, and make sure they don't have barley, rye, oats or wheat, okay? And then if it doesn't have that, the next thing is your allergy advice box, which might be in a different section, and you're checking to see if it says made in a factory with gluten or may contain gluten if it's cooked or processed, okay? And if it doesn't have any of those, then you can be rest assured that your food is gluten-free, because if the manufacturer touches gluten at any point with the ingredients or the way that is processed, that food is processed, they will have to state it in the label. So if it doesn't say gluten anywhere, it's naturally gluten-free and you can have it, okay? I hope that's helped. Once again, it's Cristian, the specialist celiac dietitian at Bradford Teaching Hospitals in the UK.